Welcome to Tamara Tattletales. I'm Tamara, and I spill the tea on your favorite reality stars. Married at First Sight After Party, Season 14, Episode 5. This episode included Lindsey, Katina, and Steve. Now, because the honeymoons have been a little stressful, this episode's cocktail was called Trouble in Paradise. It's their version of Sex on the Beach. Now, this week they decided to give us the recipe. Last week they wanted us to go on their website to go get it. Anyway, it's vodka, peach schnapps with a splash of orange and cranberry juice. Keisha asked about his reaction to Noe telling him that she's falling in love with him. He said they were in Puerto Rico and it didn't feel like they were in reality. Like he thought 3 days was too soon to be expressing feelings of love. And after the cameras left, he said he felt like she understood where he was coming from. And Noe even then realized herself that she may have jumped the gun a little bit by saying she's falling in love. It didn't seem to mess up their energy too much. And she could feel that he was asking for a little bit of space. Therefore, she took a step back, and they seem to be back on track now. On the catamaran, she told the girls that she loved Mark. When the ladies asked if she told him yet, she said, "No, I'm not going to tell him yet." But on the bus ride home from the catamaran, she told him. She said she was upset again, and he was being very supportive and comforting. And Karen said, "You know what? I think I just love you." And he got all flustered, like already? Keisha asked if this was the first time she said "I love you" that fast. She said it was the first time she said it that fast, and usually she doesn't say it first. She says she's normally like Steve. When someone says "I love you," she's like, "Thanks. I'll get back to you in 3 to 5 business days." They show the clip of Karen telling Mark that if he wants her to be less, then he needs to stop farting and pooping in front of her. She said that he really hyped up that dinner, telling her that "you're gonna feel romance tonight. You have been so good to me that I'm gonna blow your mind with romance." Then he did a 180 on her. So she said if he wants me to step back and be more demure, then he needs to take that note too. Katina said in Karen's defense, she had just consummated her marriage with Mark. Then he said, "Let's pump the brakes." She's like, "You can't undo that." Then Karen said she regrets that she had sex with him. Keisha asked, "When was the last time you two had sex?" She said that morning, that afternoon, and right before that dinner. They show the clip of Tootie asking the question if anyone has ever slept with a person, then that person's family member, then admit that he slept with a mom and daughter. Keisha said she needs details of this story, so Katina pulls out her cell phone and calls Tootie. He answers by saying, "What's up, my love?" Now keep in mind that the show was filmed after Decision Day, so is his greeting to her a hint into the future? I believe it is. Anyway, he says his cousin was dating this guy and he disrespected the cousin, so they broke up. One day they were walking down the street and saw the mother of that guy. His cousin said, "Oh, his mom likes to act young." So he told the mom, "Ooh, you are beautiful. You should let me take you out sometime." And so the mom got a hotel room and in his words gave him sex education class. About a month later, the daughter was sleeping at his cousin's house and knew Tootie would be there. Then later on that night, he gave her the same sex education class the mother taught him. A few months later, he picked up the mom from the train station. She doesn't drive. When he pulled up, the daughter was with her, but he didn't know she was going to be there. He tried to control the conversation the entire ride, but ran out of words, so it got quiet. When they got out of the car, they both patted him on the shoulder and said, "You passed the class." So Katina hangs up, then they move on to the Karen and Katina fight on the catamaran. Katina says she still stands behind her statement. You can't instigate a fight, then play victim when the other person responds. Karen says, "I think you're confused of what I was triggered about. I was actually triggered by you." Which is not true, by the way, because when she was on the balcony, she described how Tootie was posturing and puffing out his chest and how that triggered her. But anyway, this is her new version of her triggeredness. So she says, "I was triggered by you when you were at the airport and you came at me and they had to pull you back. In that moment, it put me in a place and I couldn't process it." Katina said, "You said I want to fight him. And because you came from my husband and my husband is a black man and you were a white woman, so when I hear I want to fight him, it's not his job anymore. It's my job to handle the situation." And Keisha says, "Can I step in here and give you some cultural context, not taking sides? There are some things in this world, unless you're a black woman, that you can't understand because you haven't had that experience." Karen tries to jump in. "I'm very aware." Keisha keeps going. "So there are certain things that you can say, especially in a crowded space, that can put a black man at harm." I believe that's the piece that Katina isn't saying. In terms of Katina and Karen's relationship, Katina said she needs space and time, but will always be respectful towards her. Karen says, "I think for me, I always give someone a second chance." Then they showed the clip of Tootie and Katina in their hotel room where Tootie had her initials and roses rubbing her feet and Katina crying because she was so happy. She said she felt really happy because she's never had anyone do anything like that for her. Did he though, or was that production? Anyway, she claimed that they did not have sex after the cameras left. She said they cuddled and she doesn't want to have sex too soon and jinx the marriage. Keisha asked Karen how she felt about that clip. She said it's really nice to see, and it's nice to see Katina's soft side because no one got to see that in the beginning. Okay, slight dig. But we all knew it was there. She thinks they're a great match and complement to each other. Steve said he likes seeing them together and that Tootie can be misread because of the way he looks, but he puts a lot of effort into their marriage. He said, "I'm a lot older than him, but I'm taking notes." They showed the clip of Hostage complaining about not wanting to go swimming with Chris and being mad at her mom for telling her she should go anyway. Keisha asked what they all thought of what's going on between the Hostage and Chris. Karen says regarding Hostage repeatedly saying, "I think you're a nice person. You don't usually say that about yourself. Other people do." And Katina says, "I think she has a good heart, but it's disheartening to see her come off that way and the world not having a chance to see that she is a kind person, and it's an unfortunate situation." Karen says she heard that the hostage had a very specific vision of what her husband should look like a guy with a lion tattoo and big muscles. And Keisha says she heard that the hostage said an eagle tattoo. So Steve chimes in and says he saw Mark and Chris in the lobby. They asked him if he had any tattoos. Then he showed them his lion tattoo and their jaws dropped. Then they joked, "Don't take your shirt off at the honeymoon." The next day, Noe was crying. Steve asked her what was up, and she said the hostage thinks her soulmate has a lion tattoo. So they switched the story from a lion tattoo to an eagle tattoo out of respect for Noe. At the end of the episode, Keisha says, "Let's take a peek at scenes from next week's episode." It ends with the hostage saying, "Chris seems to be going out of his way to make me look bad, and that's not okay because I'm an effing good person." Karen is turning red with laughter, and Keisha says, "Karen, what is going on over there?" "I just can't with someone saying I'm a really good person every 10 seconds. That's just so funny."